All right, ready to dive in. Today we're exploring 18 tips for attracting wealth and success. And get this, they come straight from Chinese tradition.
Interesting.
I know, right? I'm really curious to see what kind of cultural perspective they offer on a topic we usually think about in very Western terms.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. Financial well-being is something we all crave, universally.
Absolutely.
But the ways we go about achieving it, those can be so incredibly diverse.
Mm.
Exploring these tips from a completely different cultural background, I think it might just open our minds to some totally unexpected approaches.
Totally agree. Okay, so let's jump right into these tips.
Okay,
We'll start with personal conduct and mindset.
sounds good.
Tip number one is jise, which means abstaining from excessive indulgence. And it's based on this belief called yin yu shang kai, which basically says that overindulgence drains your wealth.
Ah, yin yu
Huh.
shukai. This concept is deeply rooted in, like, Chinese philosophy and traditional medicine.
Oh, interesting.
It's really all about maintaining this delicate balance
Mm,
between our inner resources and the things we pursue externally.
I see.
You can think of it this way. Every time we overindulge in something, we're kind of depleting this precious reserve of energy.
Mm.
And it's that very energy that can be channeled towards building wealth and achieving success.
So it's not just about like money literally slipping through our fingers. It's about squandering vital energy that could be used for like bigger goals.
Exactly. You got it. It's not just about the money itself. It's about the energy we're wasting. Ancient wisdom often emphasizes this holistic approach to prosperity. It's about making sure your actions align with your aspirations.
Right.
And the big part of that is recognizing how even seemingly unrelated habits like overindulging can actually hold you back.
Wow, that's a really profound perspective. It's like taking a step back and actually evaluating how our everyday choices impact our journey towards success.
It's all about mindful living, recognizing that everything in our lives is interconnected.
Makes sense. Okay, on to tip number two, ba ya lata, which translates to don't be sloppy.
Okay.
This one emphasizes the importance of image and jinki shen, vitality and spirit.
Jing Qi Shan. Love that term. It's like this. It perfectly captures the essence, the energy, the spirit that we project outwards.
Yeah.
It's like tip number two is reminding us that we're always communicating. Even without saying a word,
Right.
our appearance, how we carry ourselves, the energy we give off, these all play a huge role in shaping first impressions.
Oh, for sure.
And, of course, first impressions impact the opportunities that come our way.
It's like saying you need to embody the success you're seeking, right?
Exactly. It's not about being superficial or anything.
Right.
It's about recognizing that how we present ourselves to the world, it really can influence how people perceive us.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it can determine the kinds of opportunities we attract.
So polish those shoes, straighten that tie, and project that inner jinki shen.
Exactly. Love it.
All right, this next one, I'm definitely guilty of this one. Tip number three, buyao zangshuo ziji meikin, which basically means don't always say you have no money.
Oh, I think we've all been there. Got ourselves saying that. It's almost like a reflex. We downplay our financial status.
Right.
Maybe it's to seem relatable or to avoid making others envious. Who knows?
Yeah, and sometimes it's just a casual complaint like, rent's due again. But this tip is suggesting that even these harmless little phrases can have a deeper impact.
Oh, absolutely. This tip delves into the power of language and self-affirmation, the words we speak. They have this subtle but really potent influence on our subconscious mind.
Really?
Yeah. So when we're constantly claiming poverty, even if we're just joking, we might actually be reinforcing limiting beliefs about our own financial capabilities.
It's almost like we're programming ourselves for lack instead of abundance.
Exactly. It's a lot like the concept of manifesting that's become popular,
Yeah.
where our thoughts and words shape our reality.
Yeah.
This tip encourages us to be more mindful of the language we use and to cultivate a more positive internal dialogue about our finances.
I like that. So instead of dwelling on what we lack, we should focus on what we want to attract into our lives,
Okay.
both in our actions and our words.
Yes.
Speaking of attracting, tip number 7 really echoes this whole self-belief idea. Mei Tiangao Suziji Wo Ningxing. Tell yourself every day, I can do it.
This is so powerful for building self-efficacy.
Yeah.
That belief in our own ability to achieve our goals. Just imagine starting every day with this confident declaration of what you're capable of.
Oh, I love that.
It sets a positive tone,
Yeah.
strengthens your resolve to overcome challenges, helps you stay focused on your path to success.
It's like giving ourselves a daily pep talk, a reminder of our own inner strength and potential.
Exactly.
Almost like a mini ritual to set the stage for a successful day.
Love it.
Okay, now for a tip that seems a little counterintuitive, at least at first. Tip number 9, Shidang Shiruo, which translates to learn to play dumb.
This one is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about strategic humility, using a less threatening approach to, navigate certain situations.
So it's not about actually being clueless.
No, not at all.
It's about strategically downplaying our knowledge or expertise.
Exactly. Think of it as a way to gather information, maybe disarm potential competitors, even create opportunities that would stayed hidden otherwise.
Yeah.
There are so many examples throughout history where people use this tactic to their advantage.
It's like the classic story of the Trojan horse, right?
Exactly.
The Greeks played dumb, pretending to retreat and leaving behind this seemingly harmless gift, but it was their key to victory.
Exactly. Sometimes by appearing less threatening, we can actually gain access to these really valuable insights and opportunities.
Wow, so it's a reminder that there's strength in humility,
For sure.
and that sometimes the less obvious path can actually lead to greater rewards.
Couldn't agree more.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about self-care, which surprisingly is really relevant to financial success.
Absolutely.
Tip number 10 is Shentibu Shishizuo Shujijiao, Dingshen Pai Bei Shiduo Kanshu, which means when your body is unwell, get more sleep. When your mind is tired, read more books.
It highlights the link between physical and mental well-being and our ability to succeed in anything we do. It's a reminder that rest, continuous learning, essential investments in our well-being, and that directly impacts our financial prosperity too.
It's like they say, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
We have to prioritize self-care if we want to operate at our best,
Absolute.
both mentally and physically, to really achieve those financial goals.
Our well-being is our greatest asset.
That's true.
When we neglect our physical or mental health, our performance suffers in every area of life, including our finances.
It's not just about working hard, but about working smart and taking care of the engine that drives our success,
I love that.
which is our own well-being. Okay, speaking of taking care of ourselves, this one really resonated with me. Tip number 13, Yifu Shou Mai, Fun Shao Qi. Buy fewer clothes, eat less.
It speaks to this principle, Zhenyi Zeng Fu, Zhenji Zeng Shou. Basically, reducing material excess actually increases our spiritual and physical well-being.
You know, I've been trying to be more mindful of my spending lately, and this tip really hit home for me. I often find myself buying things I don't actually need, just because they're on sale or I get caught up in the moment.
We've all been there.
But this whole concept of Jinyi Zeng Fu, Jian Shi Zeng Shou, is like a call to simplify, to declutter not just our physical space, but our minds too.
I totally agree. It's about shifting our focus from always acquiring more to appreciating what we already have. True wealth isn't about the stuff we accumulate. It's about the richness of our experiences and the well-being of our minds and bodies.
It's a powerful reminder that sometimes less is more. And it's not just some philosophical concept, it's a practical way to manage our resources, both financial and energetic ones.
Absolutely. When we consume less, we free up resources, like time, money, and energy, that can be used for more fulfilling things.
Oh,
It's about aligning our spending with our values and making choices that support our well-being.
makes sense. And speaking of spending habits, this feels like the perfect transition into our next category, financial habits.
I agree.
What do you think? Ready to dive into the wisdom of saving and respecting those hard-earned dollars?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's get into those practical tips.
Okay.
Tip number 4 is all about a fundamental principle, shubi hui kun kin. Learn to save money. Sounds simple enough, right?
Yeah.
But in this day and age, instant gratification everywhere you look.
Seriously,
It takes real discipline to actually save,
you're telling me. Online shopping, tempting credit card offers everywhere.
right?
It's so easy to overspend and end up, like, living way beyond your means.
It's true. This tip reminds us how important it is to delay gratification,
Yeah.
to build a secure financial foundation for
They're
ourselves.
like building a strong house.
Exactly. You need a solid foundation before you start adding all the bells and whistles.
Right.
Saving consistently, even small amounts, helps you build that financial stability.
Yeah.
It's that bedrock you can build your dreams on.
It's like that saying, pay yourself first, Set
Yes.
aside a portion of your income for your future self before you even think about those tempting purchases.
Exactly. It's all about shifting our mindset
Okay,
from spend now, worry later, to secure the future, enjoy the present.
I like that. Okay, and speaking of respecting money, tip number 6 encourages us to value even the smallest amounts. Lingshan buyao sui duri ki, don't casually discard small change.
It reminds me of mindfulness and gratitude,
Yeah.
but applied to our finances.
Mm,
It's about recognizing that wealth is built little by little,
right.
starting with those pennies and dimes.
Makes sense.
Every dollar has value. No
Yeah.
matter how small, it deserves our respect.
It's like those stories you hear about people saving all their spare change, ending up with enough for a down payment on a house or a dream vacation.
Exactly. It's not just about the money itself. It's about developing a mindset of appreciation,
Yeah.
recognizing that those consistent little efforts can really add up over time.
For sure. All right, let's move on to the next category, relationships and social dynamics.
Okay.
These tips offer some interesting insights into how our social circles can impact our financial well-being.
For sure.
Tip number 8 advises, Yuan li ji bai kuai egyan du yao ke ku dirin, which basically means stay away from people who have to ask to borrow even 100 yuan.
I know this one might sound a bit harsh at first,
Yeah.
but it's not about judging people or their financial situation.
Right.
It's more about understanding the energy dynamics in our relationships,
Okay.
how they can influence our own financial journey.
I see.
Being around people who are resourceful and self-reliant can inspire us to develop those same qualities.
It's like they say, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Ex-
If we're always around people struggling financially, it can subtly impact our own mindset and habits.
This tip encourages us to be mindful of who we spend our time with
Okay.
and to seek out relationships that lift us up
Yeah.
and inspire us to reach our full potential.
Makes sense. It's not about abandoning friends in need, but recognizing the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who share our values and goals.
Oh, exactly.
And speaking of positive relationships, tip number 12 encourages generosity. Shuhi Sang Li, Li King, King Yi Zeng. Learn to give gifts, even small ones, with deep meaning.
Gift giving has always been such a powerful way to strengthen bonds and nurture relationships.
Yeah.
And this tip reminds us that a gift's value isn't about how much it costs.
Right.
It's about the thoughtfulness and care behind it.
It's the thought that counts.
Exactly. It's
Right.
about recognizing the power of genuine appreciation,
Yeah.
showing people that we value their presence in our lives.
Okay, now, this next tip might be a bit tougher to swallow. Tip number 14. 用力少许好算计你的人. Distance yourself from people who took advantage of you in the past.
It encourages us to prioritize our well-being,
Okay.
to recognize and release those potentially toxic relationships from our lives.
That makes sense.
It's about setting healthy boundaries and protecting ourselves
Yeah.
from people who have a history of manipulative or exploitative behavior.
It's a good reminder that we have the power to choose who we let into our lives.
For sure.
And that sometimes distancing ourselves from those negative influences is crucial for our personal growth and financial well-being.
Absolutely. Our energy is precious, and we deserve to be around people who support our journey.
Yeah.
People who lift us higher.
Sometimes the best way to support others, and even protect ourselves, is by simply listening. Tip number 15. 虚会倾听,少说多听. Learn to listen, speak less, and listen more.
The power of active listening.
Yeah.
This tip speaks volumes about being present, attentive, and genuinely interested in what others have to say.
It's about quieting our own mind and really focusing on the other person,
Right?
absorbing their words,
Yeah.
and truly understanding their perspective.
By listening attentively, we gather information,
Mm-hmm.
we build trust,
Right.
we gain a deeper understanding of those around us,
Yeah.
and that can be so valuable in all areas of life,
Totally.
leading to stronger relationships and more fulfilling collaborations.
You know, sometimes I catch myself just waiting for my turn to speak,
Oh, I do that too.
instead of really listening to what the other person is saying.
It's so easy to fall into that trap.
This tip is a great reminder to be more present and engaged in conversations.
It takes practice,
Yeah,
but it's worth the effort.
for sure. And sometimes the best thing we can do for ourselves and our finances is to just focus inward. Tip number 17. 百人的西沙观,专注自己. Mind your own business. Focus on yourself.
This one's about prioritizing our personal growth,
Mm.
avoiding getting caught up in other people's drama,
Right.
Our energy is limited.
Yeah.
We have to be mindful of where we direct it.
Makes sense.
It's a good reminder that we can't control everything.
Right.
Sometimes the best thing we can do is focus on what we can control. Our own actions, our choices, our own development.
It's a powerful message of self-empowerment.
Absolutely.
A reminder that true success starts from within.
Love that.
Now, let's move on to our final category, opportunity and success.
Okay.
These tips offer insights into how to recognize and seize those golden moments that can help us achieve our goals.
Alrighty.
You ready to unlock the secrets of time management and strategic thinking?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Okay, so kicking off this last category, let's go back to a tip we talked about earlier.
Mhm.
Tip number 5. Daisho biao, wear a watch. But let's dig a little deeper.
Beyond just telling time, a watch can be a powerful symbol.
Oh, yeah.
It sends a message that you respect time,
Mm,
punctuality, attention to detail.
makes sense.
It's like you're saying, I value my time, and yours too.
It's funny, right? In today's world, everyone's got a smartphone.
A watch almost seems like a thing of the past,
Yeah.
but there's something about that deliberate act of putting on a watch.
It's almost like a ritual.
Totally.
It sets you up for a productive, successful day.
Yeah, and historically, watches have been so much more than just timekeepers.
Oh, yeah. They've represented craftsmanship, precision, even social status, you know.
Oh, totally.
Think about those luxury watch brands. They practically scream success and aspiration.
So true. It's amazing how something so practical can hold so much cultural weight. All right, let's move on to tip number 11. I love this one. 神经duo zhengqin, nijing duo duxue. In good times, earn more money. In bad times, read more books.
Such a practical tip.
Right.
It highlights how important it is to adapt,
Yeah.
to think strategically.
Yeah.
Life is full of ups and downs.
Ouch.
Times of abundance, times of challenge.
Right.
During the good times, we go for it.
Yeah.
Work hard, seize opportunities, maximize our earnings.
But when we hit those setbacks...
We shift gears. Focus on self-improvement, learning new things, expanding our knowledge base.
It's like that saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with the focus on continuous growth and development,
Yeah.
it's all about seeing challenges as opportunities to grow,
I like that.
realizing that every experience, good or bad, can teach us something valuable.
It's a reminder that we always have options. There's always something we can do to improve our situation.
Absolutely.
Whether it's learning new skills, building our network, or just gaining a better understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
It's about resilience, resourcefulness, commitment to lifelong learning.
I love that. And finally, the grand finale, the tip that kind of sums it all up. Tip number 18. 把握机遇，苏西顺为应ji chenggong. Seize opportunities. Always be ready to welcome success.
It's about being proactive,
Yeah.
prepared,
Yeah.
ready to step into your destiny when the moment arrives.
It's like that Wayne Gretzky quote, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
We can't just wait for opportunities to fall in our laps.
We got to go after them.
Yeah.
Be ready to jump when they show up.
It's about cultivating a mindset of readiness, confidence, willingness to take a chance.
Trusting our instincts and taking that leap of faith.
Wow. What an amazing journey through these 18 tips.
I know, right?
So much wisdom, practical advice, all packed into these simple statements.
It's incredible how relevant this ancient wisdom still is today.
Absolutely. So much to think about
Definitely.
and apply to our own lives. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear what your biggest takeaway was from these 18 tips. What resonated most with you?
For me, it was the emphasis on mindset and self-belief. These tips really drive home the point that success begins within each of us. With our thoughts, our beliefs, our willingness to keep growing and learning, it's not just about external strategies.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating that inner landscape that supports what we want to achieve.
That's so true. It reminds us that true wealth goes way beyond just money. It's
Yeah.
about creating a fulfilling life, a life with purpose, a life of well-being. And for me, the one about playing dumb really stuck with me. Such a unique perspective on navigating social dynamics
Right.
and creating opportunities that we might miss otherwise.
It's a reminder that sometimes the less obvious path leads to better results, and that humility can be a powerful tool.
So well said. And on that note, we want to leave you, our listener, with a challenge. Pick one of these 18 tips that really spoke to you and commit to putting it into practice in your own life.
Experiment with it.
See how it feels.
Notice the little changes that happen when you deliberately align your actions with these principles.
Even small changes can create a ripple effect, positive momentum, unexpected opportunities. And remember, success is a journey, not a destination.
It's about embracing growth,
Yeah.
learning, adapting as you go.
So stay curious, stay inspired, and keep exploring those paths to greater abundance in every aspect of your life.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.
See you next time.